Hi everyone. For those new to my channel, I'm Shahid Noor, a senior studying applied math at Harvard. If you're new to my channel, I generally make videos on university admissions and personal development in general. This video is part of the playlist How to Get into Top Universities. The link to that playlist has been put in the description down below. With the new year coming up, I'll be making a lot of videos on university admissions, so if you want those content, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, press the bell button and smash that like button. This video will be an overview of the US undergraduate application process in the shortest time possible. I know there are a lot of nuances to this entire process, so if you want more details of any of the topics that I cover, make sure that you let me know in the comment section below and I will make a video separately on any particular topic. So without any delay, let's get started. I'll be talking about 10 steps in this entire process. Step number 1. Keep a notepad or Google Doc or Google Sheet to organize your thoughts, to organize your college list, to organize everything. This will help you a lot in the long run since you can't possibly keep all the information that you garner throughout the process in your head. So make sure you start with the Google Doc and Google Sheet combo to start your application. Step number 2, select your colleges. The colleges you select will primarily be based upon 2 criteria. Number 1, your profile. If you want to know how to select colleges based on your profile, let me know and I can make a video on that. And number 2, on your financial aid or the availability of scholarships. Step 3, check in the individual college website that you have selected on the application requirements. A lot of the colleges in general in the US have very similar application requirements, which will bring you to step 4, which is open a common app account. A common app is like this application interface or portal where you can apply to many colleges using a singular application, and they generally cover most of the US colleges. However, there are some colleges which you cannot apply through the common app, and you will get all that information by checking the individual college website requirements once you have made your college list back in step 2. Once you have made your college list and you open your account in the portal or common app, brings us to step 5. You will require a lot of things in your application. Generally, you will require the academic transcripts through grade 9 to 12 and any board exams or A levels, O levels, IB exams, whatever your curriculum requires you to. You will require all the transcripts of your internal school exams from 9 to 12 and those board exams. A common question that I get is that what will I do if I do not have the academic transcripts through grade 9 and 12? Oftentimes the schools don't keep those records. Don't worry, just explain your situation in the additional information tab in the common application and basically submit whatever you have. Number 6 is English proficiency requirements. There is a common misconception that if you have a high score in the IELTS or the TOEFL, you will get scholarships based on that. I don't think that's true. English proficiency requirements, which can be fulfilled by either a good IELTS score, TOEFL score, or Duolingo English test score. Just check the university website for the specific requirements. They basically prove that you can continue your education in that university in English. It doesn't have anything to do with your merit or providing you scholarships based on that. However, do note that a lot of these requirements can be waived. IELTS and TOEFL can often be waived by showing a high SAT reading score, or if you come from a school which had English as its primary mode of communication. So basically, do not spend extra money if you have to. Make sure that you look at the requirements and see if English proficiency exam can be waived. In a lot of universities, it cannot be waived. So in that case, it is better if you have those exams and the test scores in place. Step 7 is standardized exams. Standardized exams include SAT subject test. If you come from a curriculum which is not that recognized internationally, chances are you have to take the subject test. However, do not spend extra money unless you have to. Make sure you check in with the university website. If you have any questions throughout the entire process in general, always reach out to the admissions officers or just reach out to the university asking about the nuances of the application, which I did not cover in this video. The thing about subject tests is that if you do well in them, it often gives you an edge in the applications. However, during the pandemic, for instance, a lot of the schools are removing their standardized exams and subject test requirements. So make sure that You don't spend money or time unless you have to. I made a separate video on my routine that I use to get a 1540 and the SAT. You can check that video in the description down below. Step 8 will be extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities basically include anything that are not related to your academics. It could be volunteering, it could be leadership activities, opening a club, Olympiads, research projects, or starting a business, writing a book, everything that is not related to your academics. Thing about extracurricular activities is that it really influences your application chances when you're applying to US colleges. So if you are not sure about how to build a good extracurricular portfolio, or you want more details in that in general, make sure that you describe that in the comments below and I can make a separate video on it. A good idea on what type of extracurricular activities top colleges need, you can get that by looking at the playlist which I talked about, how to get into top universities. If you look at my playlist, you will see I interviewed a lot of successful applicants from Ivy Leagues, from Olympiad backgrounds, without Olympiad backgrounds, who got into Stanford, MIT, etc. If you look at their profile and extracurricular activities, you can have a general idea of what type of extracurricular activities you could do to increase your chances in getting into those universities. So yeah, if you want more information on that, let me know. Step 9 are essays. Generally, you will have an essay requirement from the common application which will be sent to all colleges, and you will also have essay requirements by the individual universities you apply to. For instance, Harvard requires an optional supplementary essay, and many universities require a lot of prompts, which are like small essays with like 150 words each. So essay is also something that you would be requiring. A lot of people start early, and that is a good thing. You should start early as possible because essay is a component where you can get a solid edge in your application. If you want to see what successful essay looks like, link to my successful Harvard essay has been put in the description down below. Furthermore, if you want more information on how to write great application essays in general, let me know in the comments below and I can make a separate video on that. And finally, step 10 is financial aid and scholarships. A lot of universities provide financial aid for which you have to fulfill a separate financial aid application. I have 2 videos on financial aid, one talking about in general how to minimize your expenses throughout the whole application with Labib Tajwar Rahman from Stanford. You can check that out in the description below, or another which walks you through the process of applying for financial aid. That is one thing. Another thing is scholarships. A lot of universities where you apply, you are considered for scholarships automatically. A lot of universities require you to apply for scholarships separately with their separate essays and separate components. So they also have different deadlines. So make sure you check those deadlines before you apply, because otherwise you might miss a scholarship opportunity, and then you might miss out on basically reducing your expenses for college because it can be so expensive. One thing I did not mention, and which will be the step 11 I guess, is recommendation letters. You will need to submit a few recommendation letters, I think 3 generally in your US application. One from your guidance counselor, who will kind of be the entire supervisor of your application, one from preferably a science teacher, one from a humanities teacher. One thing to note that a lot of the time schools don't have guidance counselors. In that case, you ask a teacher, a senior teacher preferably, who you're close with, to be your guidance counselor. A lot of the times, since they require the recommendation letters in English, your teachers might not be proficient in English. In that case, you can ask them, with their permission of course, to write the recommendation letter in the language they're comfortable with, and then translate that and get that signed. So there are many ways you can go around different problems you have. One thing to note that throughout the entire process you will have a lot of questions. To tackle that, you generally search at Google, or you can ask applicant that you know closely to help you in that regard. Or finally, if there are very specific questions about the university, the best thing to do is email the university about those questions. They usually have whole offices dedicated to answering your questions. but this is everything. I tried to wrap up the entire US college application process in 10 minutes. Generally, the application process is similar for Canadian universities and also UK universities, with like some major differences. For instance, in UK, you don't really need extracurricular activities and you have separate portals, and there's a also sometimes they require specific admission tests. However, in the US in general, most application process will be similar to what I've mentioned. I hope you found this video useful. Like I said, if you want more description on any of the topics I mentioned, let me know in the comment section down below, and then based on the comments I get, I can make a separate video on it. If you want to stay updated on the future videos that I will make, one on successful essays, one on how to write essays, one on how to be good at extracurriculars, I guess, or how to identify good extracurricular opportunities, subscribe, stay updated, press the bell button, and yeah, like that video and help me make more content by supporting my channel. Thank you.